Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the pack. Welcome to New England Stormwolves game night. We are here for another round of Upsurge week number 3. Tonight, we're going to be watching in with NESW Lightning, coached up by head coach Ryuga Kwan. I am super duper excited for this match. Lightning currently 2-0 in the league, looking to make it 3-0, looking to complete dominance over their group, over the Cloud division in the Upsurge Junior League. Tonight, I am joined by Yomi, the data analyst for New England Stormwolves. Yomi, welcome in. Glad to have you here. Yomi, going to talk to us a little bit about the team that they're up against, which is CCE Blue. I don't know a super high amount, so Yomi, I'm here for you to fill me in on what to expect tonight from CCE Blue. So, Yomi, welcome. And first off, what does CCE Blue like to do?
Hi, good evening here. CCE Blue, they're 1-1 currently in Upsurge. They are a really late game focused team. They like to play safely throughout the map, not go for a lot of risky plays. They play heavy team fighting, 5v5 front to back standard compositions. They are a very top side of the map favored team. They often leave their bot side to kind of fend for themselves and just really not die, while their mid and top laners are usually the carry threats, having a majority of the damage shares on their teams. Their mid laner likes to play a lot of the long range control mage style picks like the Vel'Koz, Victor, Orianna, Syndra variety. He's not a very strong 1v1 laner, but he does farm very well and scale very well and play very safely to try to make it to the late game. I think this matches up very well for Lightning.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. I'm really excited to see the stylistic differences. When last week we saw NESW Blizzard also put a lot of their focus into topside, a lot of what you're describing for CCE Blue, and put a lot of resources into their solo laners to be able to split and work the game that way. Whereas NESW Lightning is another team that loves to scale up, loves to 5v5, loves to put Tony up on top lane on those weak side picks, loves to play the Ornn, and then send a lot of resources down towards Perky the Parrot and Ordero in this bot lane, who are absolutely explosive. I believe Perky has already gotten a quadra-kill and possibly a pentakill in Upsurge so far this week. So that is really what I am expecting to see. Some explosive scaling up team fights, not a lot going on the early game, and looking to see how these teams come together and really bash it out. Yeah, but do you think that's an accurate assessment for what we should expect to see tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I also think that Lightning has an extra dimension here that CC Blue doesn't in Lee Sinners, as he definitely does play those champions like the Olaf and the Hecarim and the Lilia that are able to make plays happen in the early game. So he would be able to force CCE Blue into making or answering plays early game, which definitely is not their style of play. So if he can do that, start to snowball an advantage for Lightning, it's really not going to allow them to scale up and to play that comfortable League of Legends that they do like to play. And Lightning can definitely take and create advantages there and snowball that to a win.
No, absolutely love to see that. Lee Sinners is someone that I've been very excited to see within the organization. I love his playstyle. He loves to get up in people's faces and make things happen. He reminds me a little bit of Blabber on Cloud9 in the LCS, in that he is not afraid to make a play and he's not afraid to make a mistake. And especially in amateur League of Legends, I think that is so very vital to have the confidence and have your team have the confidence in you to make a decision and just go for it. One of the key players that I've been keeping an eye on since he joined the organization is actually Leo the Sexy Lion. Leo is someone that, coming into the organization, very much an assassin, bruiser, carry style of player. He went wild as much as he could all the time, and he warped the team around him. They all had to experience that and play towards and through him. So one of the things that I've been very excited to see and watch is his growth as a player as he picks up these more supportive control style laners in the Gallios and in the Seraphines. Do you think that tonight we should see more of the same from Leo going to the Galio, the Seraphine, or do you think we should expect maybe a spicier pick, bringing back the Silas, or one of my favorites, his Wukong?
I definitely think this is a good matchup for Leo to kind of go back to his roots and show us that assassin kind of heavy dive play style. As like I said, their mid laner is not a very strong laner, but he does play safely and like to scale. And Leo can definitely punish that by not allowing him to scale up, by really punishing him every time he farms, looking for aggressive trades, and just trying to choke him out in the early game and establishing an advantage. Like you said, Leo is a very strong player with the Wukongs, the Dianas, the Echoes, those sort of assassin players matched up with Lee Sinners. I think they make a very explosive 2v2 that can definitely take over this game.
All right, all right. I am very excited to see that. I'm very excited to see the drafts that Ryuga has put together. It is something that he has been working on with the head manager of League of Legends for NESW to get his drafts up to snuff, make sure that his teams go into game ready and set to go, ready and prepared to brawl with champions that work for them. And I think it works great seeing how Tony has been able to step so comfortably in with this new bot lane of Perky the Parrot and Ordero and work together in order to make sure that this team has the best chances of winning. And with that, looks like we are loading into pick and ban for CCE Blue versus Lightning. First ban away, Evelyn from Lee Sinners. I love to see that. Lee Sinners is a monster on the Evelyn, and the team does so well playing around it, looking to set up ways for him to abuse the lack of vision of his champion and find picks as the game goes on. Additionally, we see NESW banning away the Yuumi, saying we don't want their bot lane to have anything easy to go on during all of this, and really just wants to make sure that they have a bot lane that has to interact with them.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping to see a Seraphine ban here from Lightning. That's a triple flex on their team. Their mid laner, support, and even their AD carry play Seraphine. They like to play more of a supportive Seraphine with the new Moonstaff build that's been going around and a tankier engaged support. So I definitely think that is an important pick that should be taken off the table here. And then something like an Udyr or a Pantheon as well from Lightning to really try to nullify some of that jungle effectiveness and get Lee Sinners a stronger matchup here would be something that I would definitely like to see come out.
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to see that. I'm getting word now that draft is being remade as CCE Blue had a last minute problem, so they need to use a sub off their roster, which means they actually lose their first 3 bans. So give us just a moment as we go ahead and reset the draft. I take back everything I said about what CCE Blue was banning, but I do not take back anything that we have said about Lee Sinners and the rest of our NESW squad, who are, once again, looking to go 3-0 in Upsurge this week. New draft coming up live right now, and we are just going to hop right on in once again. CCE Blue does not have their 3 bans, and NESW is going to hop right back into it. I'm still expecting to see that NESW ban for Yuumi. And I'm really expecting to see, I'm very excited to see what Lightning can do with this advantage of having 3 extra bans. What about you, Yomi?
Oh yeah, certainly. This really allows Lightning to get almost complete control of the draft. The first 3 bans are the most important, as you're able to really secure a lot of power picks here, as Lightning is on red side. So CC Blue will have the first pick in the draft, but they're able to grab 2 really strong comfort champions as soon as the draft opens. And I think that's going to be really good for them, as they won't have much of their champ pool pinched here. We really look to see some strong picks coming out from Lightning.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it does look like CCE Blue is going to get bans. I thought they were going to lose them, but they are not. Instead, we see a slightly different set of bans. Evelyn banned away from Lightning, as is the Seraphine, both picks that we have spoken about. Lightning going to take away the Anivia, going to take away the Twisted Fate from CCE Blue. As Yomi, you had mentioned, Kamikaze Ostrich loves to play safe, play these control mages, farm up, and then impact the game on a later scale. So, everything so far going to plan for Lightning. Picks banned out that they are expecting. The Hecarim going away, a good thing to take away from Lee Sinners, because once again, if he gets these early brawlers, he can be an absolute monster. What I would absolutely love to see is, with their first couple of picks, if they put together something that sets up an Olaf plus a Galio for Leo. Save that Galio for the third pick so that then they can ban and protect for it, and see if they can get a good 2v2 team matchup in mid jungle, and also a team fight matchup.
I really like the Udyr ban coming through here from Lightning. That is one of the stronger points from their jungler on CCE Blue. It was banned away from him in one game last week, and he picked it in the other game. It really allows him to have a very, very fast clear speed, and to try to get online faster to that late game, to try to enable the rest of his lanes to play safely, to make aggressive plays, and to really just snowball the speed of the game faster. So if they are able to get him on a jungler that has a bit of a slower clear initially and is more gank heavy, to try to force them into having to make their own plays to accelerate the game rather than just farming quickly, I do think that is going to happen, and especially with the J4 pickup now, and really, really strong early game jungler, I think Lightning is looking to do just that.
Absolutely. I love this draft so far. Perky's Misfortune is disgusting, everybody. It is. I think it might be his best champion. I mean, Perky is also like just a giga smurf when it comes to playing the game, but this Misfortune is massive. He is so good and so comfortable on this champion. Every time I see him playing it, he gets a quadra kill at least once. So I'm very excited about it. I love the Jarvan. Next patch, I think he is going to be even better, as they're nerfing the jungle experience and jungle gold game that they can get through the jungle. And so ganking junglers like the Jarvan IV are going to become very good champions. And Ornn locked in after the Shen locked in. Love to see it. Tony, absolutely a monster on the Ornn. I love the Jarvan. It sets up the Misfortune ult so well. A little unfortunate that CCE Blue is able to pick up the Thresh, who does very well into Jarvan. But at the moment, the dive for CCE Blue is very weak. They have the Kai'Sa, they have the Shen, they want to dive, but they don't really have a way to enter the team fight. They need somebody coming out of the jungle, something like an Olaf, to be able to get into the backline and threaten Lightning. And I don't see how they can do it, not with Lightning getting an absolutely perfect draft for themselves so far.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really liking the first 3 picks here out of Lightning. Very, very strong team fight ultimates coming out. You've got the Misfortune R on top of the Jarvan R to lock them in there so they can't go anywhere. You've got the Ornn ult, just really, really strong team fight tools. If they do want to play to the game of CCE Blue, just scale up and fight late. They're saying, well, we're going to have champions that are better at fighting late than you. So I really like the Lissandra ban here as well. Like I said, their mid laner really likes to play safe in lane, so that is definitely one of the safer mid laner champions. To take that away, to really make him play in lane, and for Leo to take an advantage of that and snowball it. We'll love to see what he picks from mid here.
Absolutely. I think the Pantheon ban is also fantastic. That is a champion that can affect the side lanes, play to CCE Blue's win conditions, and also a way to start off a fight with the Shen, with the Kai'Sa. So we're putting it, excuse me, we have put Lightning onto a massive team fight composition. You have Leona R on top of Jarvan R, along with the Ornn, along with the Misfortune. It's basically, we have R, we are going to fight, and we are going to decimate you. The Echo and Diana bans away from Leo are absolutely the way to go. Absolutely the way to go.
I agree. I'm also really hoping for either an Orianna or maybe a Victor to really top off this heavy team fight comp from Lightning, as those are both huge team fight ultimates. It seems like Lightning's really going for those impactful, really strong press R champs. So you've got the Misfortune ult, Jarvan ult, Ornn ult, Leona ult, and with a Victor or Orianna, something like that thrown in there, they're just going to have a massive 5v5. And I really don't think CCE Blue has the tools to deal with that with their comp. Yeah, the Victor's coming in right there. I really like that pick.
Absolutely a fantastic draft for Ryuga. I do not like the Kha'Zix pick at all. It is a good jungle matchup, but it doesn't fit CCE Blue's first 3 picks. They picked a dive composition, and they picked nobody to be able to follow up the amount of dive that they have from their first 3 picks. Meanwhile, Lightning has massive teamfight wombo combo. They have an enormous amount of CC, especially from the Leona. Kha'Zix is going to have an impossible time getting in, and as long as Lee Sinners and Tony are coordinated on their use of their ultimates, Syndra and Thresh won't be able to stop the combination of Ornn ults plus Jarvan ults with a Leona ult layered on top and Misfortune. If I am Syndra, I am honestly sorely tempted to take the cleanse just because of the Leona ult as well as the Ornn ult. And that is not a place that you want to be as a Syndra into a Victor matchup. As Syndra, you want to be taking teleport so that you can match the wave clear of Victor. If Lightning gets any early kills, any early snowball on their mid or bot lane, it's going to be game over for CCE Blue, because the way Victor interacts with getting kills for getting his upgrades and how strong of a bot lane 2v2 they have with Misfortune Leona, it's just, CCE Blue have put themselves between a rock and a hard place, and I am excited for Lightning.
Yeah, certainly. I really kind of struggle to see how CCE Blue are going to start fights on their terms versus an Ornn, J4, and a Leona on the side of Lightning. It really seems like they're looking for a big Syndra stun or possibly a Shin flash taunt to really find an engage on either Victor or Misfortune. And they really have the front line to kind of just stand back and not ever be in range of any of these abilities. So I don't see how CCE Blue starts fights on their terms. They're going to have to more look to disengage and kite back or look for a re-engage with a Shen R and a Kaisa ultimate to really be able to take it to Lightning's backline. I definitely think this is a very strong draft from Lightning and very strong into what CCE Blue wants to do.
Absolutely. So with that, Yomi, thank you for joining us to go through draft, to go through our pregame, get some insight onto CCE Blue, set us up for this match in Upsurge Junior League. We're going to go ahead, take a quick break. We've got the 3-minute spectator delay coming through. So I'm going to see you all in about 3.5 to 4 minutes as we load into game number 1 for week number 3 of Upsurge Junior League. And I look forward to seeing you all very shortly. All right, and welcome back, everybody. Sorry for a little bit longer delay. We are into game one, and it looks like CCE Blue is starting off with a invade just to look to see if they can get some vision, maybe catch someone not paying attention, asleep at the keyboard. But NESW Lightning is completely awake, and you know why? Yes, it's that time. It is my first plug for our wonderful sponsors, Rogue Energy. Yes, Rogue Energy indeed. Absolutely wonderful for getting all the energy you need. 0 calories, 0 sugar, so healthier than your typical energy drink. And it is delicious. My personal favorite, the mango. Everyone else is super duper hype on their extreme, which is their watermelon flavor, and they love it. So make sure to check out Rogue Energy at rogueenergy.com and use code NESW at checkout for 10% off. With all that being said, we have junglers starting off with both of them taking their red buffs, pathing away from each other, both going towards the lanes that we heard Yomi talking about, them wanting to influence. Japheth pathing up towards top lane, maybe look for a gank on the Ornn with the Shen. Lee Sinners on this Jarvan going to look to path down towards bot and get his bot lane rolling. Couple interesting things to note. Kha'Zix has opted for the Dark Harvest as opposed to the Electrocute, and Kamikaze Ostrich on this Syndra has opted for the Electrocute as opposed to the Phase Rush. Usually on these control mages in the mid lane, you like to take Phase Rush, and Ordero's going to hit level 2. Is he going to go in? No. But you normally look to have Phase Rush on these control mages in order to have that extra bit of mobility and stay safe, because you're going to do a lot of damage, a lot of DPS regardless. He has opted away from it and is instead sticking with that Electrocute. Other things to note, we were talking about this during Champ Select, and during the delay, I was speaking with Yomi about how good of a draft Lightning was able to get. And one of the things that I talked about was I would have loved to have seen an Olaf come out of Japheth, give away for Mirian to get into the back line, standing on top of the Olaf and get a very strong 2v2. They opted instead for the Kha'Zix. As Ordero gets hooked up, he gets a stun off, and just going to back off, go get a rat, opting for the Guardian in this lane as opposed to the Aftershock in addition to the Exhaust. Not looking for kill pressure despite having the support counter matchup, fearing Perky the Parrot's misfortune, going to be playing safe in order to protect his ADC from this massive damage threat from Perky. But one of the things that we were talking about, to get back to that point, was the early lock-in of Jarvan made picking Olaf significantly more dangerous. That is a good matchup enough for Jarvan. Stunned up, Leo in the mid lane, flashes away from Japeth. Japeth gets the Dark Harvest proc, and Phase Rush proc, flash blown. Leo backs off, he is all safe, but the flash is gone. Lee Sinners had picked up the bottom crab, did not path towards mid lane, cleared a ward, and is now resetting, looking to get his first back so that he can keep up with Kha'Zix. Meanwhile, the Lightning bot lane has set up the wave to push back into them so they are not in a gankable position for Japeth on this Kha'Zix. Kaisa sent out a W, stopped the recall of Lee Sinners, who decided, I don't need to back, I'm just going to get back onto my clear. Going to look to reverse clear back towards his top side. And so far, everything perfectly even. Potions blown in the top lane with some extra trades as Mirian is getting very low on this Shen. And in the bot lane, just looking to farm up. Ordero going to take his stack, and we are looking good. Tony is a monster on Ornn. I look at this draft, and I just think to myself, why was Tony allowed to get Ornn and Perky allowed to get Misfortune? These are their two most played champions, possibly most comfortable champions, and they are both so good on them, and they are both very strong champions. Tony, able to get his first back off, 33 CS, able to get a good back, get a good reset timing, will be able to get back top lane as Mirian is looking to hit level 6, and thus looking to make his first ultimate play. But Tony will be able to match it because he got his first reset off, will be able to put the wave in a good state to deny Mirian a significant amount. Make it very difficult for him to play the game, to find a good timing to roam. Stun misses from Kamikaze, and nothing going to happen off of it, as just farming and trading. Both teams like their chances as the game gets later, both like their ability to scale up and then out-team fight their enemy team. I think this favors Lightning simply because they have drafted a better team fight composition. CCE Blue has to look for picks, but the only person on this team who is at all pickable is Leo the Sexy Lion. Leo can overextend at times, but he knows his job in this game. He knows it's not to be on the side lane generating pressure 1v5. He needs to sit back, let the team set up plays for him, and then he deals a massive amount of damage. Because if Perky or Leo is left untouched, they're going to blow up the entire side of CCE Blue. And fortunately for them, there isn't a lot of AoE damage coming out of CCE Blue. Syndra bursts one target. Kha'Zix bursts one target. Kaisa bursts one target. So, a strong pick composition into a strong teamfight composition, and more tools to start fights on the side of Lightning. When you have these pick compositions, you want multiple ways to be able to start your picks. But right now, all they have is squishy champions trying to control vision and wait for someone to walk into them. And that is something that Lightning is very aware of and not going to let happen. We currently have a 500 gold lead just from farming. Look at that top lane lead. That is a 30 CS lead for Tony. Going in for a good trade, gets the grass prop. Mirian is below half health. He is not having a good time. Tony knows this matchup inside and out, and Mirian is not having a good time. Lee Sinners, level 6, going out of Kamikaze Ostrich. The flash comes out. Oh, out after you. Kamikaze going low, going to die. No, Shadow comes out, flashing from Japeth. Japeth goes down first. First blood goes over to Lee Sinners. Leo does not have flash. Japeth is there after the flash, able to pick it up. Flash is blown from the jungle from CCE Blue, as well as the mid laner. Shen ult blown, but a 1-for-2 overall. Not a bad trade for Lightning. Able to blow 2 flashes, blow the first Shen ult, and honestly, they don't lose much. They still have that 500 gold lead we spoke about before, despite going a kill further down. With those gold exchanges, Syndra is a little bit ahead, but look at that 600 gold lead for Tony. And now Ordero has hit level 6. Perky is not quite level 6. He is now. Look possibly for an ult. He has Guardian, not Aftershock. Go get a rat. Could go down very quickly. And no, we are just paused. We're seeing 20 CS leads open up in bot lane. A 25 CS lead open up in top lane as Mirian has to back once more. A good ult coming out of Mirian. I have to give it to him in order to save his mid laner. Good communication out of the side of CCE Blue. If that ult doesn't come down, that is a clean 1-for-0. There is no way that Japheth gets to jump in. What I would have liked to have seen out of Lee Sinners, a good idea, looking good at flashing, but what he really needed to do was go for the EQ and flash on top of Kamikaze in order to guarantee the knockup. And Ordero has come mid lane. He knows that no flash. Ordero just following, not able to get the stun off. Lantern comes out for Thresh. Another good look towards mid lane, secures Leo. Another wave. A back has to come out of Kamikaze. Going to have to use that teleport to get back in lane. But as I was saying, go for the EQ flash because that guarantees that Kamikaze gets blown up. Kamikaze able to recognize the EQ again, flash away from it. Unsure if he had E up or not, and that could have been why Lee Sinners looked for the flash EQ as opposed to the EQ flash, as he didn't want to get interrupted and possibly mess up the combo coming through. Hook from Go Get a Rat, but Lee Sinners, good timing, and Dragon goes over to Lee Sinners and Japheth. No. That is the Dragon for Lightning. Japheth goes down. He dies. Lee Sinners says, thank you very much. I appreciate the Dragon. I appreciate the kill. Let's go next. So, overall, still looking good for the side of NESW Lightning, taking advantage of the fact that in a 5v5 situation, CCE Blue cannot match them. They need to be able to find picks before objective start. They need to have vision control, but they have none. They have pink wards in inventory, but the only ones with pink wards on the map after Leo finishes clearing this pink ward in on the top side of mid lane, the only ones with pink wards on the map are NESW, which is absolutely how you need to play against this pick composition. As long as you have vision of the Kha'Zix, of Japheth, it is impossible for these sides to do anything. It is too difficult to get a fight, to get a kill by themselves. Thresh, Kaisa don't have quite enough damage to be able to work through Perky and Ordero, and Shen solo killing Ornn, not going to happen, especially when Tony is smurfing as hard as he is right now. Gore Drinker has been picked up for Lee Sinners. This is another opportunity for them to fight. Tony and Lee Sinners joining up, looking for Japheth. They're searching him out. They go in on him. Oh, EQ lands. Oh, lands. Knock up lands. And oh my god, Japheth did not get to move. They said, you want a pink ward? Yeah, I want your life. They squish the bug. They squish him. They take out the Fly Swatter, and down goes Japheth. And Rift Herald coming over. Gore Drinker was completed. So, Lee Sinners much stronger than Japheth right now. Japheth stopping off, going for the plated steel caps, going for the extra bit of armor. But that's not going to help when you also have an Ornn there. And you need to find something to help your team stem the bleeding. I'm curious to see where Lee Sinners is going to go in order to drop this Rift Herald. Normally, you would want to go down bot lane in order to set up Perky, in order to set up Ordero, get them snowballed, get them moving around the map. However, CCE Blue has a Shen with his ultimate up. So they need to be careful of any plays they go for on bot side, because Shen will always be able to show up with a clutch ultimate like he did on mid lane. Mirian taunting in, getting a good trade, a very good trade against Tony. Tony going ahead, Eing back in, dropping some damage down, going a little bit low, but he has a pocket Lee Sinners. Lee Sinners may decide to show up, spoil the party, and no, Lee Sinners just going to back. Probably going to look to run down bot lane. Bot lane is backing at the same time. They may go... I would love to see a full lane swap right now. Bring Misfortune, bring Leona up to top lane, push down that turret with the Rift Herald, and then all rotate down for the dragon that is spawning in a minute and a half. Turret plating is falling, so Lee Sinners may be looking for a desperation drop, get the gold off of those plates. I don't think he'll be able to, but Thresh and Kaisa are forward. Here comes Lee Sinners, Perky the Parrot, Gale Forces, flash out of stage, and a good flash out of Misfortune. Go get a rack, puts down the exhaust. Smite comes down from Lee Sinners, not able to do anything, but both of the bot laners are forced to flash. Lee Sinners going to drop the Rift Herald, not going to be able to get any plates, but this turret going to go down with Lee Sinners showing up. It gives them complete control over Dragon. They get to put down their vision control first. Perky the Parrot had picked up his Gale Force, was able to jump in, force the flashes out of the bot lane, Kamikaze with a nice stun, but no follow-up. Doesn't have the damage, doesn't have the back yet to be able to do anything. Also noticing Ordero clearing vision along with Lee Sinners. Ordero and Lee Sinners have gotten so good at immediately getting together in order to team up and set up vision. Look at this vision control. CCE Blue has no vision whatsoever on the bottom half of the map. It is all in favor of NESW. So Tony just going to walk on up to top lane, save his teleport in case Shen decides to TP or ult in at half health. And this Dragon has to go over to NESW. It cannot be contested. If Kamikaze walks up, he's sitting on a ward, or Darrow may look to drop the ultimate over the wall, let Lee Sinners jump over. And no, nothing is going to happen. CCE Blue drops it, and oh my god, my heart skipped at least one beat as that Kaisa W came in. Smite a little bit early, but Ordero there to say, Lee Sinners, we are together. I got you, fam. Don't even worry about it. Ain't no thing but a chicken wing. You know what I'm saying? Guys? Anybody? And Orn ult comes down, flash comes out. Leo and Kamikaze flashes away. Thank you very much for doing something, Tony, and distracting everybody from whatever the hell it was that I just said. So, let's take a second. Let's check in. Where is everybody at? We have a 3k gold lead and 2 dragon lead for NESW Lightning. We have a 700 gold lead in the top lane, a kill lead, 300 in the jungle. Mid lane also ahead. Bot lane ahead by almost 1,400 gold. A massive lead for Perky. They let this Misfortune go through. They decided Kaisa is what we want. Misfortune we don't care about, and Misfortune they should care about. Ordero also 500 gold ahead as a support. That is insane, especially as a Leona into the Thresh matchup. Maybe not as familiar with this matchup as Perky and Ordero are. They have practiced this combination an enormous amount. They've put in a lot of time together to get used to each other, figure out how each other plays, and make sure that they are a bot lane to be feared, not just in Upsurge, but also in Risen and in solo queue. When you see Perky perching up on Ordero's shoulder, you know to be afraid. You know that Perky wants that cracker, and you know Ordero is gonna feed him. He's gonna get him fed. He's gonna pick out the saltines. He's gonna bring out the Ritz. And if you're listening, Ritz and saltines, and you want to sponsor us, just hit me up. Hit me up. We are always looking for the good sponsors. Love the crackers. And with my little segue coming through, I'm going to get back into the game. JPEth has evolved his W, which I think is the correct choice. Need a way to be able to start a fight. The advanced slow that you get from Kha'Zix's W is not to be forgotten about. Can set everyone up for getting in time. Lee Sinners walks in blindly to a bug and takes a bit of damage, going to EQ back, and it looks like a fight is being set up for the Rift Herald. One thing to note, jungle vision has not been cleared for the top side of the jungle. Not cleared, so they know he's not on his Krugs. They know when he's pathing through the top side of that red buff. But vision cleared out on the top side, that is it. CCE Blue has no actionable vision. The river belongs to NESW Lightning. Also, one quick thing to note, I can't make any sponsor deals. That would have to be Drew Cummings. Sorry, Drew. I hope you don't mind, but I like crackers. You know, what can you do about it? So, back to game. A little bit of a push going on mid lane. NESW just biding their time, probably waiting for this next dragon to spawn in a minute and a half. Go ahead, pick up that free mid lane turret as Sajern had to take a reset. Sajern has bought the early stopwatch, has the Kraken Slayer finish, but has also opted into building a stopwatch, thinking that the next fight is going to be pivotal and that they need to have the safety from that. Good stun comes out of Kamikaze, electric proc. Kamikaze going to follow, not able to get the kill onto Leo. Leo going to follow with the Chaos Storm, and they're both going to back off. Both ultimates should be able to come up as the dragon spawns. Kamikazes will come up very slightly sooner based on the completion of the Ludens as opposed to Leo, who had not yet completed it. Leo's tier fully stacked. Kamikaze Ostriches about to be. Tony going to take a reset. This dragon is spawning in 40 seconds. Leo may look to get that top turret, which is oh so very low. And once again, CCE Blue has not opted to go towards the bottom side in order to set up vision ahead of time, which they absolutely need to do, which is absolutely vital when you're playing a pit composition against the teamfight composition. Ordero is there first, very far ahead of his team. He doesn't have backup anymore, but he knows he can't die. They don't have enough damage on the side of CCE Blue, especially because Sajern went for a stopwatch as opposed to an additional crit cloak or additional daggers. But they are posturing towards top. They are looking to go on the Baron. They are starting the Baron. The Ocean Drake is at 4k. It is going down. That Ocean Drake is going to go over. CCE Blue has started the Baron. It is going down pretty slowly. It's at 9k, 8.5k, 8. It is going down. Tony has dropped the pink ward, and they are going off Baron. They did not set up enough vision control to know exactly when everyone else was showing. And NESW has the inside track on mid lane. A great macro play out of NESW Lightning. Tony going over, stopping the Baron, dropping the Herald mid, taking the inside track, and here comes a possible 5v5. Japeth is below a third health. Big stun comes out of Sidra. Leona ult comes out. Flash comes out of Kamikaze Ostrich. He gets out of the way. Hook lands onto Ordero, but Ordero is fine. Leo is below a third health. The Rift Herald crashes, and nothing happens. No explosive team fight. Tony doesn't drop the Orin Horn. Lee Sinners doesn't drop the Cataclysm. No bullet time comes out. Just Ordero's ultimate, just the Solar Flare in order to take off the no mobility Syndra Flash. Very important ability because now Lee Sinners can just flag, drag, Cataclysm. Ostrich cannot move, just sits, takes the Chaos Storm, takes the MF ult, takes the Leona ultimate. A good setup for the following team fight. And it looks like a team fight maybe starting in the top lane. Tony drops the ultimate down, gets 2 with the Orin Horn. Leo drops the Chaos Storm, but it looks like CCE Blue is able to walk away slowly but surely, looking to take a drawn-out fight with the Kha'Zix W's, slowing them down. Nothing happens. Tony secures the resets with the Orin Horn. CCE Blue too afraid to take a fight that Leona wasn't even there for. Ordero knows that they are going to reset, going forward, dangerously going for vision into the enemy jungle, walking through his own river, hasn't cleared his jungle vision. This is something that Lightning needs to be able to take a look at. They have left this vision up in the top side for too long. That ward above Krugs has been there since, I believe, 6 minutes into the game, 7 minutes into the game when they first got access to these blue trinkets from the top side out of Mirian on this Shen. Now, outside of that, vision has been set up. Vision is complete control for NESW. There is a single pink ward on the map. There are no pink wards in aggressive positions for CCE. They have retreated into their bottom side, and there may be a play going on to Shen. No, I don't believe anybody else is going up there. Just Ornn fighting the Shen. Ordero backing him up, putting down some vision, knowing that he has the push there, and clearing out the vision. And again, look at the map. It is blind. It is dark and scary, just like the night for CCE Blue, and it is lit up and safe for the side of NESW. Japeth is walking in. He has Thresh to back him up to give him a potential lantern. NESW going to give that up, going to Ordero is resetting 2 minutes before the dragon, perfect timing to walk down and set up the vision for the next dragon. Meanwhile, Lee Sinner's going to steal away the red buff from CCE Blue, so that does not belong to Sager on the Kai'Sa. Lee Sinners is having a very good, controlled game. They recognize that their composition is much stronger than CCE Blues. They recognize that they don't need to go crazy forcing plays, even though Kha'Zix scales a little bit better than Jarvan, because Jarvan fits his team comp much better than the Kha'Zix does. Vision control is once again in favor of NESW on this bot side of the map for this river. Look at how dark it is for CCE. They can't walk in anywhere. They have the Void Seeker out of Kai'Sa to check and go get a rat's face to be able to check. And he's walking into Jarvan and Leona, but no Ornn, no Misfortune, no Victor close enough in order to immediately pop onto go get a rat. Meanwhile, Ordero going to pink ward the pit, make sure to deny vision out of the pit, make it hard for Kha'Zix to jump in, and Tony, walking top lane, he is ready to teleport, has good teleport wards. Ordero has done a fantastic job with setting up the vision for his team, and that is reflected in his vision score with 53 at the moment. They have had control over the vision since the very beginning of the game. There has been a point in time where CCE was able to have any vision control whatsoever, and now everyone has met up except for Tony, who is in top lane. He's going to start walking down, possibly get a flank. Lee Sinners sitting in this brush. He knows that Kamikaze still does not have flash. That is the target to look out for NESW. Mid lane priority, going over to NESW. They could give up this dragon and walk through mid lane in order to get the inhib. Shen ready to ult, and teams are posturing. Blue orb goes down. That is one down. They have one on the Shen, who is starting to walk in, and Lee Sinners ults in. Shen ult goes in. Japeth dives into the backline under Perky, but he is too deep. He has nobody else up there. He, however, is a big ult. A bullet time comes out. It is massive two-man EQ out of these Sinners. Tony gets another knock-up on a Sager. They are diving deep. Tony flashes out. They are still going forward. Perky picks up another one. Another EQ out of these Sinners does not land the knock-up, but that is going to be picked up for Leo, the Sexy Lion, and a massive team fight win. 3-0. Japeth went in as deep as he could for Perky, but Perky did not even have to blow the flash. He had his boys. He had Ordero there, peeling for him, stunning up the Kha'Zix, making sure that Kha'Zix could not get in an isolated situation and blow up his AD carry. So Perky just says, thank you for the kill, thank you for the one team fight. Tony tanked up the entirety of the team's damage. Lee Sinners blew the flash out of Kai'Sa immediately during that fight. Blew the flash, blew the ultimate, blew the Shen ultimate, as he needed to get out of the Cataclysm. Otherwise, he was just dead. So, a well-played, well-organized, well-orchestrated team fight out of NESW nets them the Ocean Soul, which is absolutely massive. They can no longer get poked down by Syndra QEs, no longer get poked down by Void Seekers coming out of Kai'Sa, and Kai'Sa just completed her second item, still has that stopwatch. Meanwhile, Perky is on 3 items, has the Gale Force, has the Infinity Edge, has the Lord Dominic's Regards in order to cut through this Shen, cut through the little bit of armor that is coming out of Thresh as well as Kha'Zix. You now see 2 stopwatches built on the side of CCE Blue. Need to keep that in mind for Lee Sinners for when he goes in and looks for another EQ into Cataclysm. Zonia's has been completed for Leo, which means he also cannot get soloed out by Syndra or by Kha'Zix unless he is very far alone, and then, I'm sorry, Leo, but you're gonna go down anyways. E shows vision from Perky, gets an auto. Oh my god! Japeth just took 1/3 of his health from a single crit out of Perky. He is massive. He is so large, and he's almost 100 CS up on his counterpart. He is basically Flame Horizoning his counterpart at 28 minutes in. Perky has been untouched, except for in that last fight, and in that last fight, he had Ordero sitting right on him. He cannot get caught out. His positioning is immaculate. You absolutely love to see that. Meanwhile, Tony going to get a free push in bottom lane. Top lane is pushing thanks to Leo on this Vector. Japheth looking possibly to catch out somebody walking alone. These Sinners EQs in, War Drinkers in, and the Sinners that may have been deep, but Solar Flare comes out, or Cataclysm comes out, Bullet Time comes out as well, and the Sinners goes down to Japheth. Japheth gets the reset, Sojourn goes in, Japheth goes in, Gale Force comes out, Japheth is able to get one, Japheth is able to get out, or Darrow not able to time the E correctly. Leo looking to pick up a third, only gets two. That is a 2-for-2 for these Sinners, going in a little overconfidently, trying to stop the recalls, and so very close for Perky to be able to make it out. So very close for a 3-for-2 for NESW. Slightly mistimed abilities, but all in all, a trade worth taking, because once again, they get to set up, reestablish their vision control, get a few more waves in, and now it is just a matter of NESW looking for the prime way to fight. They know that Syndra Flash is down now. They know that Kha'Zix Flash is still down, Shen Flash is still down, as well as Kai'Sa. Only one with Flash is this Thresh, which means it is a good time for these Sinners to ult. It is a good time for Tony to ult, to start a fight that CCE cannot get away from. Meanwhile, the fact that the 1K shutdown went to Japheth, honestly, probably the best person next to Thresh for NESW, in large part because Kha'Zix can't really find a way into and out of these fights. It is very difficult for him to find a fight that NESW takes the time to set up the vision for properly. And once again, you see a complete denial of vision in the topside jungle and the topside river for CCE Blue, as NESW are forcing them onto a dark map. It is terrifying. I have been in these CCE has been in, and it is not a good feeling to know that you are being squeezed out slowly but surely on every single play that you make. Void Staff has been picked up by Leo, probably what they were waiting for, as they are now going to set up again, look for a team fight around this Baron as Syndra Flash is down, Kai'Sa Flash has come up, Japheth's Flash has come up, Miriam's Flash has come up. So, all flashes up for CCE except for Kamikaze Ostrich. All flashes up for NESW except for Prepare, and here comes the fight. Japheth walking forward, gets the vision with the W. Lee Sitters, is he going to go over the wall? Lee Sitters goes over Q into a Cataclysm, into Solar Flare. Bullet Time comes out over the top. Japheth is going in onto Perky, but Tony is there to feel for him. Perky picks up two. Leo picks up another one, along with Jarvan picking up two for Lee Sitters, and that is a 5-man ace. A perfectly formed fight. They set up the vision. They set up the team fight. They set up decimation. They are going to pick up an inhibitor. They are going to pick up a Baron, and that has to be game, set, and match. Well, just game for NESW. They played that so beautifully. You love to see them. You could see them all saying, hold on, wait, okay, go. And everybody was on the same page. Everybody went forward. Perky saving his Gale Force in order to get away from Japheth. Then they're going to go for the end. I think it's over. I don't think there's anything that's to do. And that is a GG for NESW Lightning. Game 1 going to them. Woo! dive in. Kai'Sa looks to dive in. Xayah, very good at playing against those compositions. Look to go backwards and ult, and then root everybody who's diving in. And that Kayle, not a Kayle, don't get too excited just yet. That Kayle is a Thresh. So, Maokai is Xayah, Kayle is Thresh. And we're going to remember these things, all right? Chat, if I say the wrong thing, just remind me. I'm relying on you for this one. Please, like, seriously, please remind me that Maokai is Xayah and Kayle is Thresh, which at this point I'm saying just so that I remember. Victor, taken away from Leo, I think a decent takeaway. Victor is very good against these dive types of compositions, especially when you already have an Udyr and a Lulu. Thank you, Samter. Maokai is Xayah, Kayle is Thresh. I am going to remember because I'm a caster, and that's what I do. That's what casters do. Rakan also taken away. They think this Lulu is going into a solo lane. They don't want to see the Xayah Rakan. Probably a good takeaway from Ordero, especially because they've already locked in the Thresh, don't have the Leona counter pick. Shen taken away from CCE Blue. I really like that because Shen is actually a very good champion into Udyr. When Udyr tries to run up and hit someone, all of his damage, all of his abilities are based on his auto attacks, and Shen's Spirit's Refuge creates a dodge zone, makes it impossible for his auto attacks to go down. Instead, they are picking Ornn for Mirion. This goes against what Yomi was describing. He was describing a team that preferred to play through their top side, through their mid lane, and have them carry. But in these two games, they are showing they want to put resources into their bot lane and try and attack the bottom lane. This is not a winning formula against Lightning. You cannot match the power of the Perky and Ordero bot lane. Meanwhile, Gnar locked in for Tony. I am very excited about it. Gnar knows Ornn inside and out. He knows how to play in it. He has the Gnar. He has the Udyr to also set up ganks for him. And Sylas is a fantastic pick here. The Ornhorn is great for Sylas. The Threshold is okay. And the Jarvan ult is also fantastic for Sylas. And we also know Kamikaze Upsurge doesn't want to play the assassins. He wants to play these control mages that have very impactful ultimates. This is something that Leo loves to pair with. He loves to play the Sylas. Galio locked in. This is a great lane for Sylas. As long as he takes the Mercury treads, as long as he gets tenacity, CCE Blue is going to have a very hard time dealing with him because he is just going to heal up. And another thing to keep in mind, CCE Blue, yes, has Wombo Combo, but they have a severe lack of damage. Jarvan will do a little bit of damage, Galio will do some damage, and Kai'Sa will do a lot of damage. But I don't know if it's enough to be able to work through a tank Gnar, a Sylas who is going to be healing a massive amount, as well as a Lulu Wild and an Udyr who is building full tank. Meanwhile, they have a dive composition into a Xayah. Xayah is going to be able to avoid and dodge all of this. The 2v2 bot lane is definitely tough for Lightning. They don't have as much agency as they did last time. This is a game where they want to play more through top side as opposed to through bottom side. But if CCE Blue missteps even a single time in the bot lane, Ordero and Perky are going to absolutely eviscerate the bot lane of CCE Blue, and there's nothing that can be done about it. What I really want to see from League Sinners is recognize that CCE Blue's win condition rests entirely on getting Sojourn ahead on the Kai'Sa. Look for the Udyr to path towards bot lane early, not because he necessarily wants to fight early, but because he wants to protect his bot lane. Protect them from a dive. Make sure that he is matching the Jarvan. So wherever the Jarvan shows up, Udyr is as well. Because in the early game, Jarvan can't do anything when Udyr is around. He can't Cataclysm and EQ away because, spoiler alert, Jarvan needs level 6 in order to have access to his ultimate. I know, I know, crazy. You may not have seen it before, but that is how the game works. I promise you. I promise you. I've been doing it a while. I know these things. And I wouldn't lie to you. I seriously, I wouldn't. It's not in me to lie to all of you whom I love and care about so very dearly. Yes, that is you, Twitch chat. I love you all. You know who else loves you? Yeah, Rogue Energy does. They really do. That's why they create energy drinks and flavor packets that have 0 calories and 0 sugar to give you all the energy that you need, all the energy that I need to be able to watch these explosive team fights from NESW Lighting. They have definitely been geared up with their Rogue Energy, and they have said, we are ready to go. We are pumped. We are ready. We have all the energy we need to be locked into their game. With all of that being said, I am excited to see this different style of game for NESW Lightning. This isn't the straightforward 5v5, we fight whenever we want on our turn, however we want to style of team. This is more of a 1-3-1 split push composition, letting Leo take control of the game on his Silas, because on a side lane, he cannot be matched. Letting Tony take control of the game on a side lane, because on a side lane, he cannot be matched. Meanwhile, Lulu, Udyr, Xayah. How do you dive that? Spoiler alert, you don't. Trust me. I've played the game enough. I've tried. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work out well. So, another wonderful draft out of Ryuga Quad. I'm very excited to see it come through. And now, we are getting towards the end of everybody locking in. We're going to have a 3-minute spectator delay. So I'm going to go ahead, take a break. You guys are going to see a little bit of information from sponsors Rogue Energy about how to put together your Rogue Energy drink. Remember, code NESW for 10% off at checkout. So everybody, take a quick break, load up on your Rogue Energy water, and I will see you all very, very shortly. All right, and welcome back, everybody. I hope you have your rogue energy ready and set to go. Took a quick look, learned how to put it together. Super duper easy. Love to see it. Just like you love to see NESW Lightning coming back for game number 2 after a resounding game 1 win. Couple things to note. We have Exhaust and Guardian coming out of both supports, so not looking to get as aggressive on Go Get a Rat. Meanwhile, Fleet Footwork for both solo laners for NESW. Also of note, Kamikaze Upsurge has opted for the better trading rune in the Aftershock, not going to start fights as much with something like the Predator, which is something that we have been seeing gaining a lot of popularity for the team, for these picked compositions for these team fights, especially when they don't. But they have the Jarvan the Fourth to deliver Galio's hero's entrance into the team fights. Unlike the last game, look for team fights to be fought more often on CCE Blue's terms because they have the Jarvan Galio Ornn combo. However, laning, still the way to go. I love Lee Sinner's path. He is starting on the blue buff so that he can path down to protect his bottom lane, just like we spoke about in draft. Meanwhile, Japheth getting a leash from his bot lane, opting to not change up the leash that he was getting. We saw him also get a leash from the bot lane in game 1, getting it from them in game 2 as well. And we are going to see the junglers have opposite paths. So, with that, we are going to see what can these junglers do in this early game. Lee Sinners on the Udyr, able to farm much more quickly than Japheth, able to get through his clear at a quicker pace, because Udyr, very fast farmer. Meanwhile, looks like Kamikaze got the better of a trade on Leo, but Leo is going to be able to heal that right up with the Fleet Footwork, going to have the W very shortly. Going for the Q, going for the E, going to try and keep this wave here. Maybe look for Lee Sinners to get a gank, because Galio, not very great at escaping Udyr Silas ganks. Leo getting a little bit of healing with the Purge, going to pop a biscuit, going to pop a potion, and this mid lane, very spicy. Both champions looking to set up for a gank from their junglers. Look to see how these 2v2s go. Early on, I think these 2v2s go very much in favor of NESW, and Leo getting very low, but Kamikaze took a turret shot. The wave is into the turret. Leo is popping his second potion. Kamikaze is not. Udyr paths over a ward. Kamikaze should have seen him, but Udyr is going to be on that Scuttle Crab first because he is able to clear much more quickly than Japheth on this Jarvan. Going to pop the Scriber's Plant, see that the bot side camps are all gone. Meanwhile, just going to farm, get his level 4. Miriam gets a good trade onto Tony. Tony going to look to heal it on up with the Doran's Blade, with that Omni Vamp, along with his Fleet Footwork. Meanwhile, Lee Sinners says, not gonna gank, not today. Just going to look to farm and keep my clear speed ahead of Japheth. Meanwhile, this mid lane is still incredibly spicy. Which one of these mid laners is going to blink first? Japheth walking towards mid lane. Leo, do you sniff it out? You do not have much mana. He does. He lets the wave come back into him. Kamikaze does not have control over the wave because of Galio's passive, because his autos will push the wave. I really want to see Lee Sinners take a reset and walk towards mid lane. I would have loved to have seen Ordero come to mid lane, and I think Leo, I don't think he W'd Kamikaze. I think he used the Purge on the cannon, and if he had, if he was able to land the Purge on Galio, he would have gotten a big trade. And Tony is able to flash away. Miriam takes a tower shot, and be careful, Tony. Jarvan is right there. Jarvan flashes W. EQ from Japheth. He saw Tony being very low. Tony not able to respond in time, get off his W in order to transform, get the health back from being top lane, but he's going to TP top, going to be able to hold this wave. Really unfortunate for Tony to go down that early. Japheth able to steal away the Gromp and pick up the kill as well, investing his flash into it. A good use of resources for CCE Blue. But NESW going to look to come back. Meanwhile, Kamikaze first by Oblivion Orb, cutting the healing out of Leo. Leo not able to just purge spam and do whatever he wants in this lane. He now has to go more for the wave clear orientation, which Leo doesn't want to do, but Silas is fine with. Meanwhile, a gank comes into bot lane and go get a rat. You are dead. The rat trap has come out. Ordero pairs up with Lee Sinners, this jungle support pairing that we spoke about in the early game. Meanwhile, Leo goes down 1v1 in the mid lane to Kamikaze. Not sure how that happened. Leo taking a bad trade. Kamikaze has the Oblivion Orb. Meanwhile, ult comes out of Tony, gets a good trade onto the Ornn, and nothing else happening. Top lane wave control now very much in favor of Tony after expending the big Gnar into Mirian, but Mirian still has teleport, and Perky and Ordero just going to shove these waves into bot lane, get the reset that they want because Perky has picked up the first blood, and once again, bot lane is in favor of NESW Lightning, which is exactly what they want to see. Vision is once again in control of NESW Lightning. Not seeing these pink wards coming out early enough in order to allow Japheth to find more angles to gank. At this point, after this back, having the Bammy Cinder, Lee Sinners is going to be able to up his clear speed a significant amount. Meanwhile, Mirian taking very bad trade against Tony because Tony is able to do what he wants, jumps away, gets hit by the second part. E comes in out of Mirian, gets the grass proc. Japheth is almost there. Tony is going to be able to turn Mega. Leo is there toppling, but they know that Kamikaze is around. Cataclysm goes out. Galio's Hero's entrance goes out. Leo is going back in. He did not see a way out. Uses the W. Is not able to live. Mirian tries to get the knock up, but Tony able to jump out of the Cataclysm. Leo biting off a little bit more than he could chew. Thought he could potentially blow up Jarvan, potentially live. He has his Bammies. He has his Purge at level 3, but he is now very far behind in experience. Has had the healing reduction from the Oblivion Orb going down, wasn't able to heal through the damage that came out of Jarvan as well as Galio. Something interesting to note, most Jarvans have been going for the Gore Drinker, have been fighting, but he is going for a Bammy Cinder, probably going for this Catapult, and Flash comes out of Lee Sinners. That is the Flash Bear Slap. That is a kill for Tony, making up for the fact that Japheth was able to use his Flash to get a kill on Tony earlier, but that kill, unlike Japheth's earlier kill, is going to give Lee Sinners access to the red buff, going to take away a camp, possibly a second, after Leo gets another favorable trade in the mid lane, and Flay goes down onto Perky, Guardian procced, but Perky is level 6. Jarvan is looking for a gank, but they have a pink ward in the river. Rift Herald going down for Lee Sinners, but Japheth just going to find the pink ward, does not have the Cataclysm available, so absolutely nothing to be afraid of. This wave pushing back into Lightning, well done with their wave management, well done with controlling the vision and playing around the vision that they have, once again, out of the NESW side. Early Serrated Dirk coming out of Sager, looking to get involved in the game early. This Serrated Dirk is meant to give Kai'Sa very early dueling power. The Q coming out of Kai'Sa when you have a Serrated Dirk is an absolutely massive amount of damage, but it won't be enough to get through the Wild Growth and Exhaust that is coming out of Ordero, and Ordero is good enough to time both of those very well. Now taking level 6, getting the Wild Growth, Jarvan looking to steal away a camp, Leo just shoving a wave, looking to get a reset in time for this dragon that spawns in a minute and a half. Lee Sinner says, thank you for the leash, walks up, smites the big raptor away. Japheth is looking to go in on Leo. Leo dashes away, may look to dash in, no. Decides against it. Lee Sinner's going to path back down to his red buff. So, Japheth not able to steal anything away. Meanwhile, he lost his red buff to to Lee Sinners. A good trade for Lee Sinners. Starting to pull ahead on this Udyr. Jarvan is going to be a tank, and therefore he is going to be falling off a significant amount after he hits his first item. Meanwhile, Udyr does very well because of his very high base damages. Jarvan will be a champion that can just be ignored. It is the Udyr. Jarvan no longer deals damage with the Bammy Cinder build. Ornn doesn't do too much damage as the game goes on. Meanwhile, Galio is going to have to do damage, and Kai'Sa is going to have to do damage, and that is it. And they are going to have to do that through a Gnar, through an Udyr, through a Sylas, and through Lulu backing them all up. I am very afraid for CCE's ability to play out the team fights that they are going to be looking for, while NESW is able to wait for them to engage and play out the fights how they choose. We see 20 CS lead for Tony, a 20 CS deficit for Leo. So overall, even there, we see a big deficit in the mid lane for Leo, but that is made up for large lead in the top lane for Tony, who just picked up plate number 1, and a lead for Perky. Meanwhile, Sojourn needs to reset in order to play for this dragon. But if it is communicated, NESW will know that they have reset, which means Lee Sinner's going to start up this dragon, and dragon number 2, the Cloud Drake, is going to go over to them. The ultimate CDR is very impactful, not because they are a team that is particularly ultimate reliant. You have Gnar, who's always going to have his ultimate available. You have Udyr, who doesn't really have an ultimate. But because it denies the ultimate CDR from the side of CCE, because Ornn, Jarvan, Galio are all very dependent on it. Meanwhile, Lee Sinners going to go ahead, drop that. Cataclysm goes out of JPEth. Leo takes the Cataclysm, drops it, flashes away. So, flash burned out of Leo, but nothing else is doing. Mirian going to dash in. Tony going to jump forward, proc the attack speed, going to be taking a good trade against Mirian. He may be looking to get a solo kill while in mini Gnar. Mirian does not have the dash. Pink ward goes down, gets another auto off, procs the hyper, and Tony has taken control over Mirian. Meanwhile, turret goes down in bot lane, and Wild Growth goes out. JPEth has to flash away from Lee Sinners plus Ordero. Lee Sinners says, "That is my jungle. Please leave my mid laner alone. You are not allowed here." Flash coming out of JPEth, so the flash that he just earned is now gone. He cannot force the fight he wants. Tony going to pick up another turret for himself, and Mirian is at threat of being dove. However, Mirian going to reset, going to probably look to TP back up to top lane. The Rift Herald spawns in a minute and a half. I would love to see Perky finish shoving out this bot lane and reset and get up to top lane so that they can take a fight of their choosing with the tempo of their choosing. And it looks like he's going to do precisely that after Ordero clears out the vision in the bottom side around Leo. Leo going to swap down into the bottom lane, get into that side lane that we talked about during draft, during champ select, in order to set up his side lane abilities. Sylas cannot be matched on the side lane, even when behind. He has too much CDR at this point. He has too much healing because Galio is the only one with healing reduction. Galio has picked up the Proto Belt. Jarvan has picked up the Iceborne Gauntlet and has decided he wants to have the extra slowing power on his auto attacks on occasion to go along with his Chilling Smite. An interesting build, one that I have personally not seen, but I'm excited to see how it plays out. I am used to the Gore Drinker, Red Smite, Jarvan, look to Cataclysm someone in, and then auto attack them when everyone's on top of him trying to peel. Gore Drinker, heal all your health, and you've already done a massive amount of damage. This build, a lot tankier, going to rely on the stats that Conqueror provides. And right now, weird lane assignments set up for CCE. They have Galio sitting in the mid lane to be able to influence the side lane, along with Thresh for Go Get a Rat. Meanwhile, Lee Sinners waiting around for this Scuttle Crab, but I would love to see NESW play for this Rift Herald, for the second Rift Herald, make it easy to break the second, to break the mid lane turret. while Tony has his way with the top wave. And Leo, so smart. He isn't shoving. He knows that if he pushes forward, he is in a dangerous position because of where his vision lies. Galio walking down towards the bottom lane, going to clear a ward. Leo sees Thresh walking towards bottom lane. Rift Herald not going to be started up. Flash comes out of Mirian. Mirian gets the solo kill onto Tony, both using their flash, but here comes Perky the Parrot. Can Perky get in range? EQ comes out of Japeth. Leo grabs the Cataclysm. Mirian goes down. Leo tries to E out, is not able to, but Cataclysm and Hero's Entrance go down, as well as Kaisa Ultimate. Those are ultimates that will not be available for the dragon that spawns in 1 minute. Leo dying, unfortunate when he knew that they were all down there. However, it is not an impactful death. Rift Herald will go over to NESW. They will be able to pick it up. Mid lane turret is not going to go down. Lee Sinners, if he wants, can take a reset and still get to the dragon in time. Meanwhile, all of the ultimates will be up for NESW. Lee Sinners is running in. Thresh ultimate goes down. The box goes down. Trying to take the lantern. Lantern is taken. Leo gets hooked up. After TPing in, W comes out of Mirian. Kamikaze is below half health. Ordero still has ultimate. Mirian dashes in, not able to find the knockup. Tony going to be proccing Meganar very shortly. We are still 15 seconds away from the dragon spawning. Rift Herald is going to be spawned. Once again, NESW taking advantage of waves, taking this mid priority with this Rift Herald. They can now walk in as they now have priority on moving to mid lane. Leo, I love this decision. Picked the Galio ultimate. Is deciding, Tony, you go in first. Lee Sinners, you go in first. I will follow you. Tony, Meganar about to run out. Tony gonna look to Ian. He does not have the flash for Anar. Lee Sinners is going to stun the Jarvan. Jarvan is not going to be able to land his EQ. Got pulled away from it. Galio comes in on the back, but he is 1v4. You are in too deep. Kamikaze flashes out. Lee Sinners picking up the damage. Has the shield out of Lulu. Ornhorn comes out, hits 3. Is Lee Sinners gonna go down? No, he is not. The shield comes in. Sajern ults into the back line, but that is Kamikaze going down. Sajern looking to go in on Ordero. Leo gets sped up by Lulu, but that is a one team fight for NESW. They pick the fight. Slight mechanical misplay out of CCE, and that is a 4 for 1. That is 4 for none. 3 for none. There we go. I can count. I promise you. Mom, Dad, if you're watching, I can count. 1 + 1 + 1 is, in fact, 3. 3 go down for CCE Blue, none go down for NESW, and that is a third dragon for them. This third one being a Mountain Drake. They are 1 off of Dragon's Soul, which will spawn at 23 minutes, 3 minutes after the Baron. They have taken the mid lane turret. All outer turrets are down. This game is NESW favored. Despite Leo kind of getting the treatment, kind of getting slapped a little bit, Leo is still creating such a massive amount of pressure. The only lane that CCE can find anything to do is by going towards Leo's lane. Leo's deficit in mid lane is the same as the advantage for Tony in the top lane. Meanwhile, that is a 2,000 gold lead for Perky in the bot lane. And Ordero might be caught out here, flayed by Go Get a Rat. Polymorph comes out. Ordero not flashing yet. He does not have flash, going to be hooked up, going to be boxed up. They are trying to donate it over. Kamikaze gets the kill, donated over to him. Ordero, a little far forward, you're not playing the Leona, gets caught out looking for the vision that his team was able to use so well in game number 1. However, what is CCE going to do with it? Nothing. That's right, the silence. They're going to try and set up an established vision, but it's still 40 seconds before Baron spawns. Sajern has opted for the Collector first, has not completed his Kraken Slayer. Meanwhile, Japeth goes ahead, uses the Cataclysm as well as the Hero's Entrance. Flash away from Perky means that nothing else is coming through. No other flash flash is used. And good play out of CCE Blue in order to burn the flash out of Perky. Not sure if he needed to, but decided to play it safe rather than sorry with the Baron spawning soon. Did not want to be the reason that CCE gets back into the game. Meanwhile, Perky has 2 items finished. Has his Kraken Slayer done, has his Gale Force completed. Has his Essence Reaver completed, has opted to not go for the Gale Force, does not value the mini dash and the execute that Gale Force can provide, instead preferring to put down the true damage through these 2 tanks and beefy mid laner. Especially because Jarvan is a tank this game, it is more important that he's able to work through him. And Udyr is here, Smite goes down, Chem Tank goes down, Mirian has flash up, but he's not going to be able to get away, and Tony gets the kill. Lee Sinners showing up saying, hey, I see you're a ram, how would you like a little bear and a little phoenix and maybe a little tiger? Oh my, indeed. Tony, very thankful for the gifted kill from his jungler. Lee Sinners, once again, having his run of the map. Leo, going to be on side lane duty, make it difficult for Kamikaze to join up with his team. Leo is very comfortable in these side lane positions, even when he's behind, because he knows all he has to do is draw pressure. And if he minimizes how much he is dying, he knows that the remaining 4 members of his team are going to take complete control of the map, and there's no way to match him. The only one on the NESW side that can be matched right now is Leo. And Leo is a sexy lion, so they're going to try to come to him because they love him. I mean, who doesn't? Leo is great. I love him. But not going to be going forward. And Sajern, I don't know if you've noticed or not, you don't have your mythic item completed. You've completed a Zeal, probably going for the Runons next, but you really need your Kraken Slayer completed in order to finish your damage out. Perky, working his way towards an Infinity Edge. The Dragon coming up in 44 seconds. Flash coming out of Ordero, does not want to get picked as the Dragon is spawning. So, no flashes for the bottom lane of NESW. CCE is setting up vision in the jungle, recognizing, getting what they did not have the last game, and NESW playing this so smart, realizing they can't walk into their jungle right now. Japheth trying to get the Cataclysm onto Ordero. Ordero lands the Q, lands the Glitter Lance in order to slow Japheth. Japheth still following. Gnar is almost mega. EQ comes out. Ult goes on to 2, and the Cataclysm comes out. Hero's Entrance does not count. That is a Mega Gnar out of Tony. Tony gets 4, pushes them all back. Sajern is going to stopwatch at the very last second, but Sajern is going to go down. That is 1 down for NESW. That is 2 down for CCE. That is 3 down. That is 4 down for CCE. Lee Sinners is chasing. Lee Sinners should be able to catch up to Kamikaze Ostrich. Smite goes down, gets the speed boost from Nimbus Cloak, and Lee Sinners picks it up. Lee Sinners swagging on the body just a little bit. That is a 5-for-1 ace. Leo says, yes, I know, I'm sexy. Come after me, everybody. And that is a Mountain Soul that is going over to the side of NESW. And at this point, there's no way that CCE Blue can win the game. They dove, they found the team fight that they were looking for. A great ward in that Pixel Brush for Gnar, for Tony to TP to. He said, stall it out, I'm building up his Mega. TP'd in as he was turning Mega, so he was able to get a 3-man ultimate as the Hero's Entrance came in, push everyone else away from being able to support the Kaisa for Sajern, who ulted into the backline to try and assassinate Perky. However, they only pick up Leo within their Wombo combo. Everyone else sits inside of Perky, putting down the Feather Storm, pulling it back with the Feather Call. And that is a 1-team fight for NESW. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is why playing around vision is so important. Something that a lot of teams don't do is they'll set up vision, and their vision will be good. You know, right now, if you look at it, CCE had a good amount of vision control in the bot side jungle. But they decided to chase and take a fight where they did not have vision supremacy, which meant that NESW was able to gather up and take the team fight that they wanted. Wait for Japheth to ult in, And Perky just ults, uses the Feather Storm, able to pull everything back, stun everybody up into a Gnar combo, and it's just GG at that point. So it is important to establish your vision and then play where your vision is. I have been so impressed with Perky's positioning all series, and I am loving it. I have been very impressed watching him since he got in. At least Sinners coming in, trying to steal away this red buff, smites it away, gets it. JPEG flag and drags in, but he is level 12. Is he going to go down? No. Lee Sinners just going to go there. Meanwhile, Cataclysm comes out, Wild Growth comes out, Featherstorm comes out, not able to get anyone else. JPET is so very low. That is a 4v3. TP came out of Leo. Leo lands the stun on a Go-Getter Rat. Go-Getter Rat has to flash away. Kamikaze going to go down. Did not have his flash up. Hook lands on Lee Sinners. Lee Sinners is diving. Leo is going to ult. Get the magic damage shield. Stun up from Sajern. And Lee Sinners is going to live after the dive onto the bot lane turret. They are going to back off. That is 3-4-0. Looked for a fight that they thought they had the advantage on around their red buff, but again, did not have vision supremacy. Vision supremacy secured by NESW. Lee Sinners, a tanky boy, just runs around, bear slapping people left and right. Says, thank you very much. This is all mine. Keep an eye on JPET. He is walking up to the Baron. He doesn't know what it's at, and Smite goes down. JPET not there in time in order to try and steal it, and Tony going to look for JPET. Guys, NESW, please, this is cyberbullying. Let him live. Let him get a camp. He has a family. He has a family. Baron has gone over to NESW. Perky the Parrot is 7-0-6. He has not died against this massive dive composition. This Xayah pick, so good. Claps and snaps and hats off to you, Ryuga, recognizing the composition that CCE wanted to put together and putting together a composition that counteracts it. A winning top lane matchup, a mid lane matchup that is fine even if you get behind on, and Xayah so good into the Jarvan Galio combo. It is impossible to do. Leo has picked up the Ornn ultimate. Tony does not have teleport. He is not with the team right now. This is a dangerous time for NESW if CCE pulls the trigger right now, but I don't believe they are. JPET taking a camp. It looks like the mid lane inhibitor turret is going to down. Hook goes onto the cannon minion to try and take it down. Yes, it gets taken down, but that mid lane turret is ready to go. JPET is standing on a ward. NESW knows exactly where he is. There is no surprise here. Perky gets the last hit on that inhibitor turret. Fight is going to be coming. JPET is in behind them. It's the EQ Cataclysm going to come down. No, JPET just dancing a little bit, saying, yep, I know you know where I am, and I know you know where I know that you know where I am. And everybody knows everything. So here we are just chilling out. Mid-inhib goes down for NESW, going to once again reestablish vision dominance as JPET might have found the fight that he wants, or Darrow getting very aggressive. Okay, we are fine. This is fine. Everything is fine here. Lee Sinners going into the bot lane, going to be hitting that bot lane turret. Perky has also rotated over. For Darrow beginning to rotate over, he says, Leo, I don't need you. I need my boy Perky the Parrot. I want him sitting on my shoulder. Meanwhile, Sajern finally finishes his Runons, looking for else, and they are going to dive onto the bot lane turrets. Mirren has to flash out. Perky is diving, and nothing goes out. Leo has flashed in. He gets the kill onto Ornn. Wild Growth comes out. Flash Bear Slap comes in. No, get a rat. You are dead. You are down. That is it. That has to be it for CCE Blue. Sajern looking to get, oh my god, the crits, Perky the Parrot. That is unfair. That has to be cyberbullying. Someone get the principal on the phone, because this has to be absolutely illegal for NESW to bully them this hard. NESW, the quick 2-0. Kaisa did not finish her mythic. NESW, a great game. Once again, playing to their win conditions. You see teams, when they put together a team composition, they think they have to start every fight. NESW recognized they did not have to start fights. Their winning team fights was to wait for the enemy team to engage and then counter engage. That is such a difficult thing to do. I absolutely hate doing it when I am playing in a competitive setting because I want to go in, I want to have all of the energy, all of the agency to be able to start fights. But NESW showed fantastic patience. They didn't rush a thing in either game, and I have to say, a really, really impressive performance out of them. With all that being said, we are going to take a quick break. I'm going to come back to you all in a few minutes as the finishing touches are put on for Lightning with their post-game talk. I'm going to get Ryuga Kwan in here to talk with us for a little bit. Maybe get one of the players to come in, say a few words. I'm really looking possibly at Perky the Parrot to come in, tell us a little bit about how he played the game. So I will see you all in just a few minutes, so don't step away. I'll catch you all soon. Take some tips from the NESW Lightning squad, and you have all the energy that you need. Rogue Energy, our wonderful sponsors. I am joined now by the head coach of Lightning, Ryuga Kwan. Ryuga, welcome, congrats, and holy crap.
Thanks. No, I really appreciate it. So thank you. I mean, thankfully, today was a really good game. Today, everybody was on form. We got some good drafts. I was really pleased with how everybody played today. It looked really solid.
Yeah, it was very impressive to see. And game one, picking the Jarvan to keep out them taking the Olaf, and then in game two, picking the Zaya for an obvious dive composition. It kind of just blew my mind at how well crafted your compositions and drafts were. Were these plans that you had going in, or was it just, hey, they're giving this to us, let's run it?
I think we try to come in with some form of plan. I try to formulate what champs are generally going to look good, but for the Jarvan, I mean, Lee Sinners, he's been talking about it for a little bit. Talking about the Gore Drinker build and how it's still pretty solid. A lot of people sleep on Jarvan, saying that he's weak right now, but in the right compositions, the right setups, it looked good. So got to give the credit there to Lee Centers about the pick. He pointed out that it looked good, and I agreed, and we locked it in. And then with the Zaya, I didn't even think about the Zaya, honestly. It was Ordaro and Perky pointed it out. They that's one of the things that I think makes Lightning look really good is that they're always communicating with me, right? Like I have some plans, but they're bouncing it back and forth with me, and we're working as a unit rather than as coach and players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I love to hear that that was a Perky decision, because I have to say, Perky has been looking a little bit unstoppable in Upsurge. Have him and Ordero in that bot lane, just massive. I don't know if I've seen anyone that can really match them so far in their division.
Yeah, honestly, at least from what I've seen thus far, I'd be tending to agree with you. I thought today was going to be a CCE was kind of going to be that bigger challenge because I think they were the only other team in Cloud Division that was undefeated, as far as I was aware. But our analyst Yomi, he gave me some really good information talking about how they played the laning phase. Said that they like to play safe and just kind of scale out to
Yep.
30 minutes. And Perky and Ardara, they like to play fast. They like to play aggressive, play those
Yep.
oppressive champs, and so it lined up. I
Yeah.
can't say.
No, it seemed like it was a match made for you guys for this matchup, and you guys played to your win conditions really, really well, which is always, for me, I am a purist. So I love to see when people go in with a clear game plan and are able to play to it. Uh, with your time on Lightning, obviously, y'all have been together for about what, 6 weeks now. What do you think has really been the biggest thing that has contributed to the success that we just saw?
Yeah, I think it kind of draws back to what I was talking about the draft. Like in both in the VOD views, in the actual game chats when we're talking about drafts, all around, right? It's not like me telling them to do something and them, playing it there. We're all having dialogue, right? It's like I think this could be good, and then they say, well, that could be it, but maybe this is the pick instead, right? And then so we're always adapting based on what they're picking, but more importantly, we're still finding ways to always keep our players on something as comfortable as we possibly can.
No, that totally makes sense.
Hello.
And so for me, I was just very impressed overall with what you've done with the team, Ryuga. So it has been great to see the growth of Lightning. I remember the first time that I saw them play together, I was very impressed with how seemingly coordinated they have been. How much have you had to do on that front in order to get everyone on the same page, playing the game in the same manner?
I actually don't think I've had to really do that much. I think more along the lines of we have a couple of people that are more soft spoken on the team. I think they're good at collecting the information. It was just more about getting them to funnel it in, right? So like Tony, for example, you've seen him play, a lot of orange.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this split, but he's always been really consistent. But and he likes doing those aggressive ganks and those TPs, but hasn't been an active in comms, so seeing him become more active has been a really good development, and it really didn't take very much. I think it was more of the team effort and then just me just kind of trying to tell him just to be more active. But honestly, it hasn't been very much. It was just, I think that those growing pains of getting people to acclimate to each other and understand how they are as players.
Absolutely. Totally makes sense. And so far, it's looking pretty freaking good. Speaking of pretty freaking good, we are joined now by the ADC for NESW Lightning, Perky the Parrot. Perky, welcome. Well played. Honestly, you kind of smurfed it there. What was going on in the comms in your mind as the game was progressing, as draft was progressing?
Well, thank you for having me. Well, I really didn't get challenged much. I just kind of chilled out in the bot lane with Ordero, and then when we saw any like gank opportunities or whatever, then we took them. I don't know, like right now, no one's really manipulating their waves really well, so it just kind of like I can get pushed whenever I want. I can just let it push into me. For ganks, I don't know. We're just vibing in the bot lane.
Love to hear it. You heard it here first. Just vibing in the bot lane. That is how you do it. Lightning. And I was noticing that as well. Every single time that the camera panned to bot lane, the wave was exactly where you would want it. Is that something that you and Ardero have had to spend time working together on, or was it you guys just sort of knew exactly how you wanted to play together from the start?
It took a little bit. I know Ordero had to adjust a little bit on how I wanted to play the bot lane, but like he's really done a good job of adapting, and like honestly, now we're just killing it in the bot lane.
You guys absolutely are. I cannot believe they let your misfortune go through. When they let the misfortune go through in that first draft, when you had especially when you had the Jarvan, what was going on? What were the comms like? Was it like, oh yeah, this is a misfortune angle?
Yep, pretty much. I mean, it's almost like it feels like a bait at this point. It's like, why aren't they banning it? Like, it's like almost an insult. I have to teach them a lesson.
Yeah, that was our questions as well. Was why is Perky getting this? He's had like 7 quadra kills and 2 pentas in 2 weeks of Upsurge.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to see. I have been loving seeing you all play together and grow together as a team. It has been great seeing the little bit of extra each way you go. What do you think is really the next step for you guys going forward?
I think we're like our macro is really good. I think we can if we just a few spots where like we get caught, and I don't know. I see we just winning all the time. I don't know how we lose.
All right. Well, I think that's it for NESW Lightning. We don't see how we lose. Clip it, ship it, send it out to all your friends, all your family, and of course, every other team in Upsurge, because NESW Lightning is coming for you. Meanwhile, I'm coming for that bed. I am ready to go. I have had a fantastic night. Great games out of NESW Lightning. Absolutely love to see an absolutely dominating, well-played, well-orchestrated, well-planned performance out of them. Everybody who joined us, thank you so much for joining. We all love you. Make sure to hit that follow button if you haven't already. Let you know whenever we go live. We should be live next week with another NESW Upsurge game. So, everybody, thank you all for joining, and I will see you all next week. Keep it sweet.